So, I remember a conversation I had with a coworker a couple years ago, and we were talking about life goals, what we wanted out of life, aspirations, dreams. And I was telling her mine because you know I'm big about talking about personal development and the good things in life. And then I turned the table and asked her, hey, what's yours? And she immediately said, I want to be a wife. And I said, okay, cool, interesting answer, but what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? What impact do you want to have on the world, on people outside of you? She also went to college, so I'm like, is there anything you want to do with your degree? Like, you know, just trying to get her to open up. And she was adamant about saying, I want to be a wife. And I said, oh, okay. Okay, so, you know, I accepted that answer and we just moved on. Fast forward to a recent conversation I had with her. And she told me, unfortunately, that she had a divorce with the man that she wanted to be a wife with, that we talked about in a conversation a couple years ago. And I was shocked because I remember how adamant she was about just becoming a wife and nothing else. Another big difference that I saw in her that was different from the last conversation I had with her a couple years ago was that her energy was way off. She was different, a different version of herself. I felt it. She was very jumpy and jolly and happy back then. Even when she was talking about, you know, I want to be a wife, I want to be a wife. Now, it was just different. She was off, a little dark in a way. Her voice was lower. It was just, wasn't the coworker I was used to. So I had my mind running and I realized that she let her relationship define who she was. She had no other aspirations, no other goals. She didn't want to be nothing in life but be a wife. And because of that, when she got a divorce, she was no longer a wife, therefore having nothing left for herself because she invested everything into becoming a wife. She literally got what she asked for. And I always say this, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. So in tonight's video, I'm gonna talk about how you should never, in my opinion, never let your relationship define who you are. And a lot of people do this because marriage, relationships, being a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife is such a big part of your life. It's almost like a supposed step in everyone's life. You're born, you go to school, you get married, have kids, and live the rest of your life, right? That's the usual wheel of life. So it's a big part of it. So it's easy to slip into the thinking that I am what my relationship is. And that's messed up because that can totally lead to depression and all types of sadness and everything. So I feel like this video is essential. The first thing I'm gonna bring up about not letting your relationship define who you are is attaching your value to your partner. Because like her, without them, she feels worthless, without value, shamed, because she put so much into becoming this thing that she had no control over. So this is the thing with control. I believe that people should invest as much as they can, work on as much as they can in the things that they can control. When you put that same attitude and those same efforts into things that you cannot control, you set yourself up for big trouble, danger, disappointment. So when I ask you, who are you or what do you do? I would rather not hear wife. And trust me, I'm not judging you if you do think that way. I'm just talking to you. I just want you to be open with me because you're more than a wife. You're more than a husband. You've had so many other aspects that make you who you are. What is that? Because I believe if you say that, you truly believe it. When you attach your identity to your partner, you are setting yourself up for failure because if that partner decides to leave you, something you have no control over, what do you have? You've put your wholeness linked to someone else. You don't believe or you don't think that you can deposit other parts of you and other things in your life. No, it's all on them. So if they leave, you are a shell of yourself, right? Don't allow that to be part of your story. You have value, and when you add a partner into it, when you get into a relationship or you're married, that person adds their value to your value. Now y'all both have a grand old shiny ball of value together. That's what I call collaboration. And healthy collaboration translates to healthy relationships. It's a two-way street. It's never a one-way street. Never attach your whole being to someone or something else that you have no control over. Another thing I want to talk about is people's dependency on company and not mastering the company of one. I'm going to explain that. Many people are dependent on company, and that's why a lot of people are in relationships or married now. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone in this world, so they are willing to sacrifice everything, put their all into something like a relationship and marriage so that they are not alone. And because of this, they are willing to put up with all types of crap, all types of stress, all types of disrespect from their partner. And they are okay with it because they are still not alone. What I'm about to say is a sad truth. This is also why it's hard to speak truth into someone who is dependent on company when they are being abused by their partner, when they are being disrespected by their partner. It is hard for friends and family or someone who cares about this person to tell them, yo, what are you doing? Get out of this, or you will end up hurt or worse, because they reject your help. They don't want to be alone. They are scared to be alone. They are scared to separate from having company. They are willing to risk their life in order to keep the company of a partner, a relationship, a marriage. They have not mastered the company of one. Now, what is the company of one? Mastering being with yourself, mastering loving your own company first, mastering the dependency of self. And I know this personally because a lot of my life, I was going after the satisfaction of others. I needed to satisfy people. I needed to be seen. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be accepted. So I did things to be accepted, even though I was selling myself and not knowing it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it took the acceptance of God in my life in order to master the company of one, mastering my company. Because once I got God in me, I mastered me. Therefore, I mastered my company of one. It took that. I had to place something of great value, something bigger than myself, something that will be here beyond me, something that is imaginable, unspeakable, just amazing, to place that in myself, that value, that gold, that treasure in myself in order to master myself. Then now I was able to accept the company of others because I mastered self. I mastered my own company. Now I'm able and willing and wanting to accept other company because I got my own. Now, I'm not trying to preach you to death. I'm not trying to tell you to do that, but I'm telling you my story of how I got to mastering myself, my company of one. I want you to ask yourself, are you okay with severing a relationship that is not good for you right now? With breaking up with someone who is abusing you, disrespecting you, who doesn't care about you? Are you willing to master the company of one? Willing to master yourself so that you don't depend on other company? Because when you invest so much on something as latching on to company, you can get exactly what you ask for and get a nightmare, a death trap, the devil. I challenge you to master the company of one. The next thing I want to bring up about this is prioritizing your relationship and your marriage to yourself. I need you to always come back to yourself when things aren't going right, when things are getting really weird out in this world, because life is just weird like that. When things that you can't control starts to beat you on your head, I need you to always come back to here, home base, self, and figure it out. Afterwards, if you need help, then do that, but I always want you to come back to self. I don't want you to prioritize your reliance on something or someone else on this earth, because everyone is flawed. Every single person on this earth is flawed. So why would I give the chance of bringing your flaws into my flaws, and now it's just a big flaw party? No, I need you to believe in something that's greater than you. Do not let your relationship with your problems, do not let your bonds with your trauma, do not let your relationships with your partner, do not let your loyalty with your friends define who you truly are. You have so much to do in this lifetime. I'm sure you have a calling. Even if you don't know what it is yet, keep active, and I believe eventually you'll find it. It doesn't have to be something grand. It doesn't have to be something spectacular. I believe everyone has the power to make change in this lifetime. That's definition. The effect that you have on people who can't do the things you do, who can't afford the things you can afford. That's definition. When no one is around and you're in your room in the darkness and you're with self and you're deep in your thoughts, what do you think about? The things you think about. That's definition. The way you handle stress, the way you handle happiness, the way you handle success. That's definition. It is hard to define definition when your definition is limitless. Do not give your definition weight. Do not give your definition humanly traits. Make sure your definition is everlasting. All right? And that is why I strongly believe that relationships will never be able to define you, and they will never be able to define me. We're bigger than that. It's a lot greater than that. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all on my next video. Thank you for sharing your night with me. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.